Tell me a little bit about what this project actually is.
These are going to be the townhomes of Bennett Street. It's going to be 7 new units on this side of the street, and then next year we're going to move to the opposite side and build another 7 new units. They're going to be for home ownership. They're going to be featuring 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, and off-street parking.
Tell me about the process to get to where we are today.
Well, it's been a tough process through the acquisition of approximately 12 units, demolition, getting our permits in place, getting an agreement with the local community workforce to make sure that we have some local hires involved with this. And now we're ready to hire a contractor to get the work done.
So how do people get these homes? Or what's the next for this process?
The next step is to build the houses, work with our various realtors, work with the local housing counseling agency, which is called DCRAC, to get qualified. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to market this to families of medium income. So families making up to $80,000 could afford this house very comfortably.
Now, what's the overall price for the project?
Well, the project would be, the overall cost for the development is going to be about $1.8 million. Each house is going to be marketed for about $135,000, $139,000. We're not sure yet. We'd like to get appraisals first. But what we want to do is increase the values of the existing houses here on the east side.
And what was the city's process or involvement in all this?
Well, the city conveyed quite a few units to the partnership. They provided some funding, also working with the Department of License and Inspections, working with the Solicitor's Office, helped us acquire quite a few units here in the east side.
This is a great day for the east side. As many of you know, we've been working with Councilwoman Shabazz and Reverend Keeley here to rebuild this particular stretch of the east side. We've had tremendous support from the mayor's office, from the mayor himself, from his entire staff, and from likewise with the governor and the support of his various cabinet secretaries and their contribution of a significant amount of funds from the DSHA. So what you're seeing here is the first, or actually we've already completed and sold 2 homes in the neighborhood. This will be the next project here, and then we think in the next 3 years we'll have rebuilt 50 homes in this stretch of Bennett Street that will all be for sale. And the great thing about the project is how much support we've received from the entire community here. So, and I'd like to commend the staff at the Wilmington Housing Partnership who've worked very closely with the neighborhood, have, I think, presented really remarkably good-looking design, and most importantly, we have committed to hire for the construction of the homes people that reside here in the East Side, and that's what we've done as part of the East Side Rising program. So again, while today is the groundbreaking, we encourage you to come back in only a few months to see the homes being topped out, and then also as we move forward on the rest of the phases. But thank you all for all the support that you've given us.
All right, so we were here in December, just right here on this street, before this block, you know, was demolished. And here we are for the groundbreaking of the houses that are going to go up. And, you know, there's a lot of investment that's being made. I mean, just, you know, state government alone, between the State Housing Authority, the downtown development districts, and other funding in addition to the city. But in the end, this really comes down to the community saying, we're going to make this happen. And that's really what this is about. And so our job, and I'm glad that Dan Logan is here from the Attorney General, from the Department of Justice. They've been great partners. This has to be a partnership. And so state funding can go a certain distance. The private funding, J.P. Morgan Chase has been hugely helpful. We're grateful to them and to others who have really stepped up. And I'm just real excited about what these 7 units will do and what the additional units will do as we continue to make progress. So I just want to thank all of you for bringing us to this stage. We've got a long way to go, but we're getting there. And finally, I think this is a great story within the context of all of the improvements that are going on in Wilmington. You know, you go up Market Street, the first ground-up residential units to be built in Market Street in 50 years are now being occupied, which I think is really encouraging. New restaurants planned, not just in Market Street, but the surrounding area, the Creative District. A lot of great stuff going on. We just need to all make sure that we're getting that story out, because a lot of wonderful progress being made in the city of Wilmington. So
on behalf of the Wilmington City Council, I want to thank the visionaries all the partners and all the grunts, the folk who put the nuts and bolts together to do this, to accomplish this for the East Side, jobs, quality of life, housing, uplifting the community. That's what this is all about. I was at another event over here on Walnut Street Place, where they are putting housing up, and I just think that this is great for the East Side, and I want to thank all of you for your vision and your hard work in accomplishing this. Thank you.
My comments today are met with pride, emotions, and hope. The pride is because, as an East Side native, recalling my youth and the great historical neighborhoods that used to be all up and around here on the East Side. The emotions are because of the despair which led to the plight which we endure in this neighborhood, in these neighborhoods today. But the hope is for what is to come as we repair, rebuild, and once again create neighborhoods, families, and friends where children can once again go outside and play without fear of gunshots, drugs, and disrespect for life. As I mentioned previously, it is imperative that we look at the longevity of this particular project, meaning completion, regardless of what administration leads, to make projects come forth. Because you know, sometimes as administrations change, projects get put on hold. So I know Mayor Williams has committed to this project, and I'm hoping that each and every one of his administration, everyone else going forward, will make sure that this happens. And I'd like to see the project go from end to end, from 8th Street, starting at 8th Street and 11th Street, coming in to block in some of the problems that we're having with the drug activity rather than it move forward. And as we know, nothing can work. As we build, we have to build continuously, because nobody's going to move in neighborhoods as long as you continue to see plight in the next block over or the next block over. So it's imperative that we look at this at this particular time to make changes and our concepts come towards the neighborhood in terms of rebuilding it and making it safe for everyone. I know you want to see your children to be able to come into these communities, and the only way this is going to happen if we have good housing, good education, great schools, and great neighbors that want to buy in and participate in this.
This is such an exciting moment. Every step of the way that we've come to the completion of the rising of East Side just fills my heart. I, too, am a native resident of East Side, Wilmington, grew up here and seen it go through the many changes. And as we started with this initiative, Reverend Keeling gave me his idea of what he wanted to do. One of the major things that he was very instrumental in is that we not only were going to rebuild the brick and mortar, but we wanted to rebuild the human spirit. And he's done just that. As you can see by the crowd that's here, the many different people that's on the various committees of the East Side Rise, all of this is a community-driven initiative. The residents themselves have come to the table to say what they want and what they need inside their community, and they rolled up their sleeves to make it happen. It's the exciting part also is that when the brick and mortar and the development is happening, it will be done by individuals themselves who are here to do the labor. So when they walk by these completed houses, they will walk with pride to say that I helped build that. We're also working with other institutions inside our community as a stepping stone credit union. Individuals who are renters now can go through the process of revamping their credit. So they once were home renters, they now will be home owners. So this is what we're talking about, and reinvesting back into your community, not just to be a purchaser of a home, but to be the creator of the idea, to bring the houses to fruition, to be the builders of those houses, and to own one of those houses. We are bringing back the word neighbor in the word neighborhood. East Side is no longer a hood, it is a neighborhood.
The prophet says, they shall build houses and inhabit them. They shall plant vineyards and eat fruit. They shall not build and another inhabit. They shall not plant and another eat. What I want to point out is that the prophecy is not just about houses being built or fields being planted. It's about the development of community as commitments are made and relationships are formed, and people's lives in the neighborhood around them are being changed by the power of God. See, but what we see here today is not just an announcement that new homes are being built. It's an announcement about community being formed as corporations and elected officials join together with community people in a commitment to revitalize a neighborhood in a way that will be affecting real change, not just in the buildings, but in the lives of the people who live, work, and worship on the East Side.